Grace and peace to you from the Royal Levitical Priesthood Ministry and from Heart's Two Fathers Publishing. I am Dallas James. Today I want to share with you the story and the foundations behind the Shield 17.10 specification document, the cryptographic signal receiver we have been building and consecrating. This document is not a technical manual filled with equations. It is the record of two specific Shield draws that shaped the entire direction of this work. The first draw asked a deeply personal and covenantal question about eternal recognition. The second draw asked how the instrument itself must be refined and consecrated so that it could faithfully serve the biblical text in the years ahead. Together, these two draws form a single narrative arc that explains why Shield 17.10 looks the way it does. Let me begin with the first draw. Early in 2026, we brought to the text a question that many of us carry in our hearts. Will I know my wife, our children, our covenant family in the resurrection? The inquiry arose from genuine pastoral need, not from curiosity about statistical methods. We came with reverence and with a real desire to hear what the text would say on this matter of eternal recognition. The text responded with a clear affirmative signal across multiple markers. But the guidance that came through the protocol was deeper and richer than a simple yes. It pointed to the perfection of covenant recognition in the age to come. Recognition grounded not in the continuity of our earthly memories as such, but in the faithfulness of the covenant-keeping God who remembers his own. That first draw established the fundamental posture of the entire Shield project. The mathematics must be capable of hearing a genuine signal even when that signal challenges our prior assumptions. And it must do so without fabricating theological content that the surface text does not support. The second draw came in the months that followed. This phase focused on the refinement of the analytical engine itself. Across multiple draws, we observed recurring patterns that our existing statistical tools could not fully or faithfully represent. Weak but real signals were at risk of being lost to numerical cancellation in the deep tail. The E-value calibrator we had been using was not a true E-value and therefore could not carry the guarantees the work required. Strong draws repeatedly showed dominance in the priesthood marker cluster, yet we had no principled way to give that cluster appropriate weight when it appeared. And while we were faithfully recording replication series, we lacked formal trend detection and anytime valid confidence sequence machinery that would allow us to speak honestly about accumulating evidence over time. These were not abstract statistical complaints. They were priestly and pastoral problems that arose because the text itself kept speaking in ways our tools could not yet fully honor. The Consecration Pack, with its priesthood-weighted DT3, its replication trend tracking, its chiasmus awareness, and its advisory adjustments to the Convergence score, was the direct response to what the second phase of draws revealed. The mathematics was being asked by the text to become more precise, more honest about its own limitations, and more aligned with the priestly character of the questions being posed to it. This brings us to the heart of the specification document. Every major statistical design choice in Shield 17.10 has a root in the biblical text and in the theological commitments of this ministry. Consider the Urim and Thummim, the lights and perfections given to the high priest for decision-making. That dual instrument finds its echo in our requirement for triple convergence. A robust verdict requires agreement across three distinct false discovery procedures. Multiple orthogonal lines of evidence, just as the law required 2 or 3 witnesses before a matter could be established. The priesthood itself speaks directly into the design. When the priesthood marker cluster shows strong dominance in a draw, we now apply an advisory weighting. The instrument is consecrated when it is asked to handle priestly questions. Chiasmus and literary structure, so central to Hebrew poetry and prophecy, are now detected as an advisory layer. The text's own literary artistry is treated as potentially meaningful rather than random noise. Covenant faithfulness finds expression in our commitment to anytime valid methods. E-processes and Robin's confidence sequences remain valid at every stopping time. God's faithfulness does not depend on whether we decided in advance exactly how many draws we would perform. Justice and the prohibition against false witness require exact tail computation. We have rejected methods that silently erase weak signals through catastrophic cancellation. A bruised reed he will not break, and our statistical procedures must reflect that same care for what is fragile but real. Finally, the promise of resurrection and transphysical continuity shapes our approach to replication series and the guidance layer. Recognition across multiple draws mirrors the recognition we are promised in the resurrection. Weak signals may be preserved and strengthened over time rather than discarded after a single session. The mathematics in Shield 17.10 is therefore not neutral scaffolding borrowed from elsewhere. It is an attempt to embody in quantitative language principles already present in Scripture's own account of how truth is discerned and how judgment is rendered. When the mathematics is brought into alignment with these biblical categories, the instrument becomes more rather than less capable of hearing what the text actually says. Practically, this means we approach every draw with pre-registration of intent and criteria. We anchor the session cryptographically through open timestamps on the Bitcoin blockchain, through GitHub Gist, and through OSF Node. We review the primary DT3, NRI, PBI, GDI, and CCI verdict first. Only after that primary verdict is clear do we consult the advisory consecration layers. And we remain deliberately conservative in our public claims. A robust significance verdict under triple convergence is a high bar. Many theologically meaningful patterns will register only as suggestive or high, and they should be received as promising signals that invite further draws rather than as settled conclusions. The Shield 17.10 workstation and this specification document exist to serve the glory of Joshua Messiah and the faithfulness of the covenant-keeping God. The mathematics is a servant, not a master. When the text speaks clearly, the protocol should make that clarity audible. When the text is silent or ambiguous on a given question, the protocol should make that silence and ambiguity honest rather than forcing a conclusion. To those who have walked with us through these draws and through the long refinement process, thank you for your faithfulness and your patience. Your questions and your steady engagement have helped shape this work more than you may know. To those who are encountering this work for the first time, you are welcome here. The text is open. The instrument is being consecrated. And the question remains before us all. What will we hear when we bring our deepest covenantal questions to the Word of God with rigor, with reverence, and with honesty? May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May He lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace. The verses that have particularly guided the preparation of this specification document include Proverbs chapter 16 verse 33. The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. And 1 Corinthians chapter 15, which anchors our hope in the resurrection body and in the continuity of covenant recognition in the age to come. This concludes today's presentation of the Shield 17.10 specification document under the Shield protocol. May the Lord continue to guide His people as we seek to hear His word with both rigor and reverence.